your relationship is better after you got pregnant. Women have to put out, even when they don't feel like it, to quote unquote keep their man around. There are days when you can't stand each other.
Yes, you are right. Oh, the places that you go. Y'all, let me just tell you how much we love you and love getting content out there for you.
True.
Today was not our day in terms of content creation.
Honestly, the last couple days haven't been our day.
Yeah, but stuff happens. We love our job. We love getting to engage with you all. We might post a little vlog on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday.
To show you the saga.
It ended up having a great ending, or at least knock on wood, so far.
It's not over.
Yeah, it's not over, but sorry, you took me somewhere. Anyways, speaking of that, we're talking about marriage assumption. Oh, we didn't welcome him back.
Well, hello you guys. Welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I just had a birthday. You want to see what Tori got me? Look at this bracelet she got me.
It was from the fam.
Yeah, it's from the whole family. And it's for the fam, which is exciting because I actually want to get the initials of our family across this. It's like a miniature ID bracelet.
Yeah.
And so that was a little fun thing I want to do.
So anyways, I'm sure y'all saw this from the title, but we're doing a part 2 of reacting to y'all's juicy assumptions about
assumptions.
Marriage. And so we're also waiting on some friends who are gonna show up very soon.
You may get some content with them too, but we were so happy with how the first part did. We were like, you guys wanted a second part, so here we go.
Yes.
And we're gonna try to not make them all about sex.
Except for literally that's practically all they want to know.
Everyone's assumptions are about that, which I get. It's a topic that should be talked about. Certain people talk about it, or they don't talk about it enough. But yes, we'll dive in.
But yes, okay, you ready? Chad hasn't heard
I don't know
any
of
of
them.
these.
You're gonna see live reactions.
Yeah, we actually had Amy, who works with us, pick these out, and so I haven't even read through all of these, and we're just gonna go through them in random order.
That makes me nervous.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first one is, there are days when you can't stand each other.
Yes, you are right. I'm just teasing, baby. No, but yes, absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's can't stand, but I would say very annoyed or frustrated. Yes.
And what typically happens is it's typically not even that person's fault.
Yeah.
It's typically, sometimes I call some issues, okay? You're typically having a bad day, and what happens when you have a bad day is you tend to explode, and the person closest to you ends up getting hurt by it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things that we have to constantly remind ourselves, hey, same team.
Yes.
Hey, no friendly fire. I'm on your team here.
We also live together, we're together 24/7, and I feel like if there are couples out there who also work together, I do feel like sometimes it's very hard to separate being annoyed in business world and being annoyed with because I'm not annoyed with my husband Chad, I'm annoyed with coworker Chad, and so it's hard to make that distinction sometimes. But
just like how our couple days have been, don't let any annoyances create bigger problems. Look towards the silver lining, look towards reconciliation. And so we don't laugh about it as in I like it when she's annoying, or she likes it when I'm annoying. We all have different stuff about us that's not as attractive, or
we all have bad days.
We all have bad days, but it's a chance to love someone and show them grace. So
Yes. Okay, next. That you're always naked in front of each other.
I feel like it's becoming increasingly so.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean,
to each their own.
You're not wrong.
But I wouldn't say that's a false assumption.
Yeah, I think there's a difference though, because some people think that it's just sexually naked.
Yeah.
But it's no, it's not. You're just
just walking around or getting out of the shower, and we don't have kids yet either, so I feel like maybe things would change if you had kids running around the house and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just us. So.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you're
next,
not wrong.
That it fixes chronic loneliness. What?
I'm just looking at you.
Why?
I was gonna let you answer, babies.
I would not say if loneliness is something that you struggle with, that looking for looking to marriage to solve that problem is a good thing, because you have this God-shaped hole inside of you that needs to be filled by the Lord, and your spouse should complement and be this addition to your life, but your spouse is not there to satisfy your every need and desire 24/7.
Amen.
And so I feel if you're walking into marriage thinking that that's what marriage is going to do for you, then you're going to be really let down.
Yeah, and I've noticed that people, when they feel lonely, they think that the answer is, oh, I need to be dating or I need to be married or whatever. It's like when people are having marriage problems, they're like, oh, we should have a kid. That'll fix everything. It's like, no, that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
Make friends, build a community, get into a small group, you know, because you're going to create really unhealthy emotional dependencies if you're like depending on that person to make you not feel lonely.
I feel like it's a really good thing to be content with who you are by yourself and deal with that like loneliness issue before getting into a relationship. Okay, next. You have doubts that you married the wrong person sometimes.
No, and I think that comes in with the fact that you're not constantly comparing spouses and you're not constantly shopping for spouses and you don't mention the D word, divorce. You create healthy languages and boundaries because you realize that I didn't marry a finished product and she didn't marry a finished product and we're constantly growing together. And if one person has something that you think they should work on, then you talk on it. And if they agree, then you work on it together. And it actually makes you feel closer than you wishing you had this like perfect spouse who has nothing wrong with them, which by the way doesn't exist.
I know that people do like struggle with that. I just don't feel like that's something that I've ever like I've never like looked at you and been like, oh, did I marry the right person?
I think that's why I answered it from a point of view of like, if you do these things, you won't have that that feeling.
Married sex is boring.
No.
We'll just say no and move on. Okay. Next, your relationship is better after you got pregnant.
It's deeper.
It just grows in a new way. I wouldn't say it's like
it grows
better.
Like out. You know what I mean? Like your love grows out. Like I would say it's about that much bigger.
I feel like it definitely is like a deeper love in terms of like now when I look at you, I'm like, wow, father of this child. You know what I mean? Like there's something different like in the way I look at you because I'm like, wow, like you're going to be such a good dad. Like things that you do to serve me or things that you do to entertain me or whatever. I'm like, wow, it just like my love for you is like I don't know, my eyes are being opened in new ways.
Yeah, but on another hand, it does stress your relationship out more than what you're used to.
Totally.
And so you want to be aware of that and cognizant of it and make good decisions to like help battle those extra stresses you're going to be experiencing.
Yes, for sure.
And we are like on one right now.
Okay, next. Y'all are totally fine using the bathroom in front of each other. No, we're not that couple.
Yeah, we're not that couple. If we had to, we would. But like...
Number one, I would be okay with. Anything past number one, I'm like, no.
Like 1.5, where you're just unsure what's going to happen. Don't risk it for the biscuit, baby.
But I know a lot of couples feel very comfortable. So it's not like for me to be like true or false assumption about marriage as a whole. But for our marriage, that is not something we do in front of each other. But I was laughing with Chelsea when I was in California because I pee in front of Chelsea. And like we have full on dialogue conversations in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But I like will do that in front of my girlfriends. But there's something about like we're romantically intimate, and I just like don't want to do that around you.
And we have experienced some things that are a little bit more gross. Not gross. I don't want to use that word.
No, but like
they're
kind of.
Yeah, there's more stuff, and so there's no judgment happening there. There's no like, hey, oh, you grossed me out with that.
No.
But I think we just like to respect each other's personal space a little bit.
Yep. In areas. Okay.
Areas.
Sex isn't always emotionally connecting every single time. That's a really great question. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I would definitely say there has been times where we've had sex and I didn't necessarily feel as emotionally connected.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Especially when we were trying to get pregnant.
Yeah. I will say this. When you are emotionally connected, it's 10,000 times better.
100%.
And so that's whenever someone, that assumption that married sex is boring sex is like, no, it's like, gosh, it's, there's something so special about being so close to the person and like loving who they are and feeling close to them. I know it's even weird maybe to hear a guy talk about it, but it's just like, it's just not this physical act that people think it is. It's just like emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, thing happening. And when you're connecting on the emotional level, it, like...
It's so much better.
Yes, especially as they say, like, guys tend to be more like a light switch or a microwave. Yeah. Girls tend to be more like an oven. You got to preheat it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so the more I make her feel pursued, the more love that she will feel, and it reflects back.
Yeah. Next. women have to put out, even when they don't feel like it, to quote unquote keep their man around. If you are married, there is no quote unquote keeping your man around. He said I do.
Yeah, he committed.
And he committed, and he is under covenant. I don't like the way this was worded.
Yeah.
And I will say that there is, I don't even like saying put out, like that kind of is frustrating in its own like terminology for me, but it is biblical to not abstain for a large amount of time unless agreed upon and for a specific purpose. And you know, there's different seasons of sex. If you missed part 1, highly recommend going back to part 1, because we talked about like going through different seasons of sex in your marriage. And so it's not to say like the health of your marriage is determined by how frequent you're having sex, but I would also say that like not ever going into sex is like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put out for my husband. Like, you know, like that's just not a good mindset to have.
And you don't want to operate out of fear where if I'm not physically active with this person, they're going to go run around on me. That's not healthy. However, it's nice to say, oh, I want to be physically active because I want to please them. I want to make them feel good. And so it's like, you never want to do it out of fear, but doing it out of like desire to serve and love is awesome. And I could see how a sexless marriage could cause a lot of issues. That's not a threat or anything. It's just like, if you're not connecting on that way, I could see how there could be some deeper underlying disconnects and issues.
Yeah, for sure. It is not easy to stay faithful to your spouse. Everyone will face temptation at some point.
No. If you struggle with being faithful and dating, or if you want to talk to multiple people at one time and all that stuff, then I think it can carry into other because you're practicing a habit now where you're kind of shopping. And so, and you think that when you make the purchase, I mean, when you get married, that you won't have that same habit. But no, you still have, you've built a habit of living life a certain way. And so I think it's important to make sure that whenever you commit, you commit. And you're not constantly just like, well, what does this person have that my spouse doesn't have? You okay, baby?
Y'all, I'm getting uncomfortable very quick.
Oh, my sweet baby.
My back is like,
okay. A lot of these are about remaining faithful and stuff. And I think it's important for people to know that this is like a mindset of commitment where you walk through like the covenant and you're like, hey, we are in this together. And it's not just like, okay, what can I get from this person? And if they don't give me everything I desire, every want and need I have, I'm going to go get it from someone else. Because if you're in marriage to just be pleased, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. It's like you're in it to serve this person, and then Lord willing, they're in it to help serve you too. And then you serve each other, and it creates a really beautiful union. But if you just like this use and abuse, then that's not healthy.
The next one is that the husband has to make more money.
No. I mean, I have seen people have issues with it. Where guys can feel intimidated. And like, I mean, see, I think for us, it's just important to know that if you watch part 1, when we talk about finances, our money is our money. Even if I made all the money in the marriage, it's our money. Because with what she offers and sacrifices, that allows me to go out and make money. And so it's our money. So if it's all in one pot, who cares? So it shouldn't be an issue, but I have seen
where
instances of it.
And I will just say that like this mentality is, I feel like, a very like prideful mentality, and it was something that I actually like had to work through pre-marriage. Like, okay, what am I quote unquote bringing to the table financially, etc. And my mentor actually was like, your mindset here is way off, sister.
You're bringing
and
that
she
body.
had to like put me in my place a little bit of like, this is not what you're bringing to the table financially. This is like about to be y'all's table, it's y'all's pot, it's your meal, like, etc. And I do feel like when it comes to like this whole like who's making more, then you're gonna deal with pride issues, and pride comes before the fall. And so we want to make sure that like when we are operating inside of marriage, it's never from like a prideful standpoint of like, look at all what I'm doing, etc. It's like, no, we are in this together. Once again, we are a team, and we're like moving this family forward.
And I think another thing just to be encouraging is that Tori and I have gone through seasons where I was definitely the sole provider, and then we went through another season where she was like holding the reins for us to be able to make our ends meet and stuff. And now we've created a really helpful season where we're both being able to contribute, which is great. But and it's like, just be a team together.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you want to say hi to the vlog at least?
Hi, vlog. It's so weird.
It is. It's kind of meta. Okay. Thank you, guys. Love you. Bye.
Last but not least, it's hard to catch up with family from both sides regularly. Yes. Yeah, I would definitely say that it's a transition. I think it's different for a lot of couples. Like, we are currently in Michigan with our friends Jordan and Milena, and I feel like they do a great job of seeing both sides of their family regularly with all their kids, and their families live close by. So I do think that, like, proximity comes into play a lot. Like, my family is completely scattered, and so it's harder to, like, have a bunch of different phone calls going on versus like, oh, let's all go to dinner and catch up. I would say that it definitely is, like, dependent on the couple, but we personally, I think, struggle a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, especially when you want to keep up. You want to keep up a lot and you can't. And so I think learning how to do that and learning what will honor your family, but also, like, helps you maintain your marriage. If you have kids, if you have friendships, church, whatever. And so
I think communication is key. I think that it gets hard when there's expectations of a certain amount of communication or a certain amount of time spent together. But as long as, like, everyone's on the same page, I feel like you won't have any issues. I think that, like, making sure that you're communicating before there's any, like, hurt feelings or anything.
You cannot expect what you do not express. Express yourself. Communicate in a healthy way. That's, like, literally the best advice you can ever give someone is just communicate. Just talk. Just please talk. I think that's it.
I think that's all. We love you guys, and stay tuned. We have a lot of really fun videos coming out this month, and so thank you guys for your patience of us not having our other upload this month, but we hope you enjoyed this one.
Do you want to give them a bump date?
Yes. The bump is...
Wow, look at that.
Bumping.
That's my baby, and this is my other babies.
The baby.
All right, love you. Do 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 do.